Morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's briefing. We are going to discuss crude and yen markets, as today marks the the October report for OPEC, and it's going to focus on the global energy shortage as a central concern. Before we start and talk about the background to this global shortage, which is causing prices to do this is a WTI crude oil. Brent chases a trajectory. Brent is trading in with an 83 handle, WTI with an 80 plus handle, 80.5 at the moment. And just for the sake of thoroughness, I want to point out to you its sister, I should say, which of course is natural gas. That's tracking an even sharper trajectory. So the up, with WTI's up 14% in the last month. Natural gas, just to give you an idea, in the last month, we will start from here, the 23rd of today, we are looking at a 40% rise, okay? So, terrific shortage here, but there's a tremendous amount need to be made. We're willing to trade this and get our customers and clients to trade. Let's talk about some of the reasons it's happening. The first one, and we hear this a lot, is that OPEC didn't expand its production. Well, let's talk about the background. Let's talk about OPEC. Let's talk about the background. As a result of the pandemic last March of 2020, I guess it's 2 Marches ago, I date myself, demand fell off. Air travel ceased. Ocean shipping nearly ceased. Auto travel ceased. The entire world's economy was ordered by their governments to not go to work. An unprecedented event in the history of recorded economics. Never had that happened before. And so, therefore, demand dried up. And you have to store this stuff. Gas and oil are not like DVD players or LED TVs. No, this stuff is volatile and dangerous and has to be stored very carefully. And there's limited storage capacity for this stuff. Now, this is one of the problems I want to focus on just as we're speaking here. There's been a significant underinvestment in hydrocarbon infrastructure, and that's because the investment has been turning to non-burning energy sources, electricity, renewable, nuclear. Well, actually, nuclear received a nickel, which is a crime in my opinion, but the infrastructure of the hydrocarbon economy has been neglected for decades, and now it's starting to show. As demand picked up way more suddenly and steeply than was expected after the pandemic struck, there was not nearly enough supply to meet that demand, because as we've spoken about in the past, the energy network is a complicated, expensive, sophisticated, and somewhat difficult to operate system of supply. It doesn't shut off like a light switch or turn on like a electric motor. I won't go into the complexities of it, but suffice it to say that it takes a great deal of manpower, energy, capital, technology to get these systems up to speed. So because of the lack of shortage, there's now a lack of supply in the marketplace for the demand that's returned. And that demand is driven by the fact that manufacturing skyrocketed shortly after the pandemic struck because people were at home, the governments put money in their pockets, and they were buying. There was no tomorrow. Computer equipment, all sorts of stuff. And this has caused a shortage of containers, and shipping costs quadrupled, and et cetera, et cetera. But getting back to the energy story. So this energy demand, sudden demand for energy, which caught the supply side off on its back legs, has caused this shortage and caused these spikes. And other things. So now I want to get back to the supply end of the discussion. Not, as we know, last month increase their production beyond the 400,000 barrels per day that they had already committed to increasing, which they do. So they're not stepping up to really meet the demand as well. Wouldn't expect them to, because prices are high and they're making a fortune. So if this continues, I expect the U.S. administration to pick up the phone and talk to bin Salman in Saudi Arabia, who runs OPEC and nominally, titularly, and practically, and to get his friend, notably Tsar Putin, to get them to start pumping more. Putin has actually suggested that he would start pumping more. But in the meantime, these pipelines are full, the gas storage system is full, and there's no real place to, even if they were to output it more, there's no real place to store it and put it into because there is not enough infrastructure for that. Now we know Oh, and natural gas, by the way, has an added link. It has to be. It's actually transported and sold in liquid form, and that is got its own complex technology, and it's a shortage of that technology. Mostly compressed. It goes around the ocean in tankers, liquid natural gas tankers. There's a shortage of those too, despite the fact that Qatar just recently ordered 5 new ones from China, cost of about $800 million for the total order. They won't be ready for a good year. So, and also nobody's ever made an order like that from a Chinese shipyard, so it's not clear whether they'll float or hold the gas, or you can imagine. But that being said, the bottom line here is that these prices are not likely to reverse for some time. And if the winter's cold in the northern hemisphere, these prices are going to go up even more. So this is a good long-term call, a good long-term buy position. It's likely to shift to big markets that don't turn on a dime. An ocean tanker or an ocean cargo tanker that has to stop. It takes 10 kilometers to come to a full stop. There's a turning radius of something like 4 kilometers. That's the market I'm talking about. It's up and away. As you see, it's above. This is what 200, the 20, and the 50-day moving volumes are quite strong, and the force index indicator with volume, direction, and price is va 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 boom. The va 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 boom sound effect. Well, it's a little out of the reach at the moment. No, I'll get it. This is the va 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 boom sound effect. That's right. So that's where prices are going. This is a good long-term buy. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll end today's session and just remind you and your traders to good confidence for now.